Good morning, this is Kasturi Day. Today I am going to continue with the sound chapter question answer section. Today I'll start the short and long question answers. Okay. So first question, why sound energy travels as longitudinal waves? Because the particles of the medium vibrate or move in the same direction as the sound wave. Okay, the particles which are present in the medium, they vibrate or they move in the same direction as the sound wave. That's why sound energy travels as longitudinal waves. Now, why sound can only travel in solids, liquids and gases? Because sound energy needs a medium to propagate. Okay, and where there is no medium, that is no solid, liquid or gas, there is a vacuum, and in that vacuum sound cannot travel, because sound needs some particles to vibrate. Sound propagates through vibration of the particles present in the medium, and in vacuum there is no particles and that which will vibrate. Okay, so sound can only travel through solids, liquids or gases. Now, why we can feel vibrations when we place the finger on our throat while talking? We know that we have a voice box in our throat, that is the larynx, which is present in the throat. Okay, and when we speak or sing or talk, we from that voice box the sound comes out. Okay, that is present in the upper end of the windpipe in the throat region. Okay, now this voice box has two vocal cords which are made up of ligaments and they're stretched across. Okay, so they are stretched like strings. Now when the vocal cords relax, when we are not talking or not singing or not speaking, at that time they have a gap. These two vocal cords, the two ligaments, they have a gap between them so that the air can pass through without making any sound. But when we are talking or singing or speaking, that time what happens? These two vocal cords, they contract and come closer. So the gap between them becomes narrow. And as the air passes through this gap, the cords vibrate. Okay, which creates a sound, vibrations, and which create a sound, and we start talking. That the sound is coming out while we are talking or singing or speaking. Okay, so when while we are talking, this vocal cords are vibrating, and we feel that vibrations when we touch our throat while talking. So why speed of sound is different in different medium? This is because the speed of sound depends on the density of the medium, and the more dense is the medium, the more will be the speed of the sound. Okay, so the speed of the sound depends on the density of the medium, and it is directly proportional to the density of the medium. That is, the speed, the more dense is the medium, the more the density, the more will be the speed of the sound. Now, what is the difference between amplitude and frequency of a sound wave? First, amplitude defines the intensity of the sound. How much loud is the sound? And frequency defines the speed of the vibration of the sound. Second point is, the amplitude increases when the amplitude increases, the loudness of the sound increases. The louder the sound is. And when the frequency increases, the shrillness of the sound increases. More shrill the sound is. Then when the amplitude decreases, the softer is the sound. Okay, and in frequency, in case of frequency, when there is decrease in frequency, the shrill will be the sound. Less shrill will be the sound. Okay, now amplitude is, the unit is decibel, whereas in frequency, frequency unit is hertz. What is the difference between reflection and absorption of sound? Reflection of the sound and absorption of the sound. In case of reflection of the sound, when a sound wave hits an object, it bounces back or gets reflected, like the reflection of the light. Whereas in absorption of the sound, what happens when the sound wave hits an object, some of it gets absorbed. Okay, the object absorbs the sound. That is absorption of sound. Then the reflecting surfaces are high wall, cliffs, mountains, etc. Whereas any smooth surface, these are all reflecting surfaces. Whereas in absorption surfaces are thick walls, curtains, carpets, soundproof roofs, etc. Sofas. Okay. Now, what is the difference between how mosquitoes and humans create the sound? Now, mosquitoes do not make sound through their throat like the humans. Humans create, I told you, they have two vocal cords which vibrate and make a sound while speaking. That is, the voice comes out. Voice box vibrate and this produces the sound. But in case of mosquitoes, what happens? When they vibrate rapidly, their wings, they produce a sound. Okay, this is the difference between the mosquitoes creating a sound and humans creating a sound. Now, the difference between transverse and longitudinal waves. Now, longitudinal wave is the movement of the medium in the same direction of the wave. And transverse wave is the movement of the medium is perpendicular to the direction of the wave. Perpendicular to the direction of the wave. In longitudinal it is the same direction, and in case of transverse, it will be perpendicular to the direction of the wave. In longitudinal wave case, it acts in one dimension, whereas in transverse wave, it acts in two dimension. Longitudinal wave can be produced in any medium such as liquid, solid or gas, whereas transverse wave is produced in solid and liquid surfaces. Then longitudinal wave is made up of rarefactions and compressions, whereas transverse wave has troughs and crests. Okay. Then we come to why do echoes produce in an empty auditorium usually decrease when it is full of people? Okay, we know that in case of an empty auditorium, when we speak, we hear the echoes. But when it is full, we see these echoes have decreased in the sound. They have decreased. Why? Because in an empty auditorium, there is no people. So, only the walls, chairs and all those are there. So, the absorption, the sound absorption is very minimum in case of empty auditorium. But in case of full auditorium, when it is full of people, the absorption of sound is much more. It increases more. So, what happens? Echo will be less. The more will be the reflection of the sound, the more will be the echo. The more the absorption of the sound, the less will be the echo. Okay. So, echo can be heard only after 0.1 second after the original sound we know, and when the distance from the source is 17 meter. But in case of when it is full of people, when the room is full of people, this reflection and the time taken to get back from the this reflection distance, the distance between the source and the reflecting surface is reducing. It is less than 17 meters because hitting the people which are very close, and what happens is come back. So we cannot differentiate the sound, and it is coming. It is taking less time after the original sound can be heard in our ears. Okay, so which is 0.1 second, and if it is coming beforehand, then we will not be able to distinguish the echo reflecting sound and the original sound. So echoes will be, there will be no clarity between the echo. Another thing is absorption. The more the people, the more will be the echo will be absorbed. The reflection of the sound will be absorbed. Now describe elasticity of a medium. Elasticity is a property of a medium to regain its shape after being stretched or compressed. After a medium is stretched or compressed, it regains its original shape, and that property is the elasticity, and the speed of sound depends on the elasticity of the medium. The greater the elasticity, the faster will be the sound travel in the medium. What does it mean if we say that a tuning fork has a frequency of 256 hertz? That means that a tuning fork produces 256 vibrations in 1 second. Now, what do you mean by a vibratory motion? It means a part of the body oscillates, keeping its other parts fixed. That is the vibratory motion. Okay, some parts are, rest of the part is not vibrating, only some part is vibrating. So that part, when one part is vibrating, oscillating, that is vibratory motion. Now describe an experiment to show that each source of sound is a vibrating body. Now what happens if we pluck a string of a sitar or a guitar? We will notice that the string moves to and fro from its rest position. And this motion of the string is a vibratory motion. And as the string vibrates, it produces a sound which can be heard. And as soon the vibration stops, we will not be able to hear the sound. There's no sound is produced. So this shows that if we, each and every musical instrument which has any sound which is produced from a source needs to be vibrating. Okay, so a vibrating, if any body vibrates, it produces sound like that of the musical sitar or a guitar. Now the bees do not have voice box. How do they produce sound? Their wings vibrate, move to and fro, up and down very fast, and that produces a sound. Okay, I'll stop here. I'll continue with the next rest of the questions in the next video. Please go through this. If you have any doubt, please do write in the comment box, and if you can also suggest me how to improve my videos, and if you so that you can like it more. And if you like this video, press the like button, and if you have not subscribed yet or a new viewer to my channel, please do subscribe to get the notification of my next video, and also press the notification bell. Okay, thank you.